What's the fastest way to learn any skill? Most people would say study more. Some would say practice longer. But after spending weeks diving into neuroscience, psychology, memory research, and the learning habits of some of the history's greatest thinkers, I realized something shocking. Almost everything we're taught about learning is incomplete. Andrew Huberman explains how your brain decides what's worth remembering. Richard Feynman had a method that exposed whether you truly understood something. Memory researchers discovered that forgetting can actually make you learn faster. And Thomas Edison approached failure in a way that turned every mistake into progress. These ideas come from different people living in different time periods, working on different fields. Yet, they all point to the same hidden truth. Learning faster has almost nothing to do with intelligence. It has everything to do with how your brain is being trained. So in this video, I'm going to combine the most powerful ideas I found into one practical system. By the end, you will know why your brain deletes most of what you study, why the way you've been revising is probably slowing you down, why making mistakes is one of the fastest way to learn, and the final principle that quietly connects everything we've talked about. Have you ever read an entire chapter of a book, only to realize you don't remember a single thing? It's frustrating. You start thinking, maybe I have bad memory, or maybe I'm just not smart enough. But here's the truth. Your brain isn't failing. It's doing exactly what it is evolved to do. Think about it. Every second, your senses are flooded with information. The colors of the wall, the sound of the fan, the feeling of your clothes, the hundreds of words you've already heard today. If your brain tried to remember everything, it would be overwhelmed within minutes. So instead, it asks a simple question. Will it matter later? If the answer is no, it deletes it. Andrew Huberman explains this act like a spotlight. What you give sustained, focused attention to is more likely to be encoded into memory. Your brain is constantly deciding what deserves its limited resource, which means learning isn't about forcing information into your brain. It's about convincing your brain that the information is important enough to keep. And here's the mistake almost everyone makes. They study while their phone lights up every 30 seconds. Music with lyrics, 10 browser tabs open, replying to messages. Then they wonder why nothing sticks. Your brain can't tell what's important because you've told it everything is important. So here's the challenge. Next time you learn something, remove every distraction. One screen, one task, 30 uninterrupted minutes. You'll learn more in those 30 minutes than 3 distracted hours. This completely changed how I study. For years, I thought forgetting meant I had failed. I'd read something, forget it within 2 days, and immediately go back to rereading everything. Turns out, that's one of the slowest ways to learn. Over a century ago, psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus mapped what became known as the forgetting curve. He found that we naturally forget a large portion of new memory if we never revisit it. At first, that sounds depressing, until you realize forgetting is actually your brain's way of asking, do you still need this? And every time you actively retrieve the information, you're answering with a yes. That's why memory researchers have constantly found that retrieval practices, trying to recall information without looking, is one of the most effective ways to strengthen learning. Close the book, grab the blank page, write down everything you remember. You will struggle, and that's good. The struggle isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a sign your brain is building stronger connections. It's like going to the gym. Lifting an empty bar forever feels easy, but your muscles never grow. Your memory works the same way. The effort is the exercise. Imagine I asked you, what is dopamine? You might answer that it is a motivation chemical. Sounds convincing. Now explain it to a 5-year-old. Without using the words dopamine, brain, or neurotransmitters. Suddenly, it's much harder. That's why Richard Feynman believed, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Most of us confuse familiarity with understanding. You read a paragraph, it sounds familiar. So your brain says, yeah, I get it. But recognition isn't comprehension. Here's what Feynman would do. After learning something, he'd close the book and teach it out loud. Not to impress someone, but to close the gaps. Because every time you get stuck, you've found the exact place your understanding ends. And that's incredibly valuable. Most people avoid finding gaps because it feels uncomfortable, but fast learners hunt for them. Now, here's the part that surprised me the most during my research. The fastest learners don't avoid mistakes, they actively create them. When people hear the name Thomas Alva Edison, they think of intelligence, innovation, genius. But one of his greatest strengths wasn't knowledge, it was experimentation. He wasn't emotionally attached to being right. He was obsessed with finding out what worked. Every failed experiment wasn't proof he lacked talent. It was information. Imagine learning basketball. If you only take shots you're already comfortable making, you'll feel confident, but you won't improve very much. The player who improves fastest constantly shoots from different positions where they miss. Not because they enjoy failure, because failure gives better feedback than success. Psychologist Anders Ericsson, who studied elite performers, found that experts spend a huge amount of time practicing just beyond their current ability, not repeating what they already know. Growth doesn't happen inside your comfort zone. It happens at its edge. So the next time you make a mistake, don't ask, "Why am I bad at this?" Ask, "What is the mistake trying to teach me?" That single question can completely change the way you learn. So, let's put everything we've learned together. Your brain remembers what you pay attention to. It grows stronger when you retrieve information instead of rereading it. It learns faster when you explain ideas simply. And mistakes aren't proof that you're failing, they're proof that you're learning. But after researching all of these ideas, I realized something. None of them matter if you keep practicing the same way. Imagine two people learning the guitar. One of them plays for 3 hours every day. The other practices for 1 hour. At the end of the year, who do you think is better? Most people would say the person who practiced longer. But that's not always true, because there's a huge difference between repetition and deliberate practice. The average person practices until they get it right. Experts practice until they can't get it wrong. If you lift the same weights the same way every week, your body has no reason to grow. Your brain is no different. Growth only happens when you're pushed just beyond what feels comfortable. A year from now, someone will have mastered the skill you're dreaming about today. The question is, will you be wondering how they did it? Or will you be the one everyone else is trying to catch?